Hey, you clicked on my video. Appreciate it. Now be sure to like the video and subscribe to the page. Long enough to cover the subject and short enough to keep it interesting. Welcome to Out of My League. I'm Nick Diaz. Growing up, they all tell you baseball is a marathon, not a sprint. That's until you get to the end of the season and you are playing to clinch a regional host every single week. And with a little bit of luck, maybe a top 8 national seed. Although I still think that's unlikely. And LSU fans, they love a late season sprint in the regular season because they are mostly a die-hard football fan base. Guess what? Now you're getting what you want with the last 3 weeks of the season. Every game counts. And it's not like last season where you're sprinting to get into the postseason by the skin of your teeth. LSU is in the postseason. And if the season ended today, they would be chosen for a regional host. And if LSU wants it to stay that way 3 weeks from now, then LSU has to win at least 5 more SEC games. But first, you got to win at least 2 this weekend at Alabama. Because let's say you lose the Bama series this weekend at their place. Then you have to play Ole Miss, a team that has fallen off the rails at home, sure. But then you would have to finish at Vanderbilt, a team that is 10-11 in SEC play at the moment. Neither of those teams are great, but you would have to put pressure on yourself to sweep Ole Miss if you really wanted to feel good, or else you would have to go on the road at Nashville, forcing yourself to win a series to get up to the magical number of 17 SEC wins, 5 more than what you have right now, which means putting pressure on a baseball team and making them become desperate. That's never a good thing, all right? It's not like football or basketball where you just go all out physically and you start playing better all of a sudden. Baseball is a sport of staying relaxed at all times. And I hate to say that this weekend is a must-win game with 3 series left, but this is a must-series win for LSU to clinch a regional host, considering what you have left and what you have to end the season. The good news is that all of LSU's last 3 series at Bama this weekend, Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, all of those teams have hit a wall and are trending in the wrong direction. LSU, on the other hand, is playing their best baseball at the right moment. So, we'll break down Bama in a second, but let's explain why this LSU baseball team is playing so well now and what they need to do going forward. So the first thing is Mikael Hilliard. He did not have his best stuff against Georgia on Friday. And he still found a way to get you a win. That's what your Friday night ace should do. And he stepped up in the biggest moments. The second thing is the emergence of the freshman outfielders, the 2 Joshes, Pearson and Stevenson. Both of them went back-to-back home runs against a top 3 pitcher in the SEC on Saturday. And even though LSU lost the game, they still scored 9 runs, with your freshmen having their best at-bats against a top SEC ace. What having Pearson has done is add another left-handed batter to your lineup, which is good because LSU's offense, their biggest weakness, is struggling against left-handed pitchers. But tell me what baseball team doesn't have that problem. And then Stevenson, he adds an extra depth to the bottom of your lineup, which showed up at the end of the 8th inning. And none of them are liabilities in the field on defense. And the third thing that has helped LSU get to this point is the emergence of another left-handed pitcher in Jacob Hasty from your bullpen. Now, this is where Jacob Hasty also comes in, because here's what LSU needs to do to tweak some things going forward. Blake Money, your Saturday guy, he needs to be removed as the starting pitcher for Saturday. All right, Jay Johnson hinted at this at his press conference this week. Other LSU media members have heard reports about this. Have Money come out in the bullpen on Saturday instead, okay? Well, who the hell is going to start Saturday if not Money? Good question. You really have only 2 smart options. The first one is Bryce Collins. Start him and he throws for like 3 innings or so. Or the lefty, Jacob Hasty. He starts for 3 innings. I say 3 innings for both of them because on an average day, that's what a relief pitcher who starts usually throws, about 3 innings. Either one is fine with me because really all that matters is that, okay, Blake Money has gotten worse, okay? I don't know if we were fooled by the competition early in the season, which I think we were, or the fact that he mentally could never really get right after the small little wrist injury that he recovered from for about a week. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I think expecting him to make a jump from a midweek relief pitcher as a freshman who didn't even make the postseason roster all the way to an SEC ace in a one-year jump as a true sophomore was unrealistic. So, what you can do to help him at the time is put him in the bullpen to look at the opposing team's lineup that day. See what their strategy is. See who's hot and who's cold. And then he goes in. If you're asking me to choose which starter to go with on Saturday, I guess I would prefer Jacob Hasty as the starter on Saturday, for this reason only. Just to give the opposing team a different look facing a lefty and then facing a righty in the span of 3 innings. Just to fuck with them a little bit, all right? Do that. Another thing that will benefit LSU the rest of the way is the spring semester is all but over. So from here on out, all that the players have to do is worry about baseball. That's why Will Wade's teams in basketball, they always saw their biggest improvement in December. Why? Because that's when they didn't have to go to class for like a month. It was all ball. And that's encouraging for an LSU baseball team that is this young. And yes, they are still very young in many areas. Now, on to this Alabama team this weekend and how LSU matches up in this declared must-win series that I have proclaimed. LSU is second in the SEC in team batting average. Bama, they're 9th. LSU is 4th in team ERA. Bama is 5th. Now, that may not seem like a wide margin in pitching, but it's actually huge of a drop-off between the two teams overall because add on to that, Bama, their pitching and team ERA has gotten worse in the SEC, and LSU has actually gotten better. Bama's starting pitchers overall, I mean, they're kind of average. When you look at their stats, I'm not going to bore you with all the numbers. And plus, they only really have one guy on offense in their lineup that has double-digit home runs with 11. And the thing is that their entire team strikes out a lot. As a matter of fact, the whole Bama offense is either strikeout or home run. Ain't a whole lot in between. Ain't a lot of getting on base. Ain't a lot of bunts. Ain't a lot of walks. Nothing. It's a very inefficient offense. It's either strikeout or home run. The good news is LSU pitching, they throw a lot of strikes. So this is a good matchup for LSU, at least on paper. But here's the problem, is that Bama is fighting for their postseason lives. They're 9-12 in the SEC. They have a chance to sneak into the postseason. And this weekend against LSU is probably their last chance. It's their highest RPI team left on the schedule. So LSU, they may have to face a scrappy Bama team this weekend that has a very good record at home. However, on the flip side of all of that, that also hurts Alabama. Remember how I said earlier in the episode, baseball is a sport of staying relaxed? Baseball is all about execution, and the most relaxed teams execute the best. Desperation and fighting for your postseason life are not relaxing phrases. So, it could also benefit LSU in this series. The fact that Bama is fighting for their lives and playing scrappy. I think LSU will win the series this weekend, which means they are still on track to be a regional host in the postseason, regardless of what happens in the SEC tournament. I think they get 2 wins at Bama. You never want to predict a sweep against Ole Miss, but 2 wins against Ole Miss and they get 1 against Vanderbilt. Do that, and you have clinched a regional host, something LSU has not done since 2019. Thanks for listening to Out of My League. If you like what you heard, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok in the description link below.